Beetle I'm going to tie is inspired by this beetle I found in the backyard. Now the beetle I found is a size 10. I'm going to tie it on a size 16. Start your fly with a 2 extra fine dry fly hook. This one is from Musad and it's a size 16 R30. Start with a 70 denier thread. Start your fly with a jam knot at the eye and work your way back. Beetle's an amazing insect. It has 2 wings. It has a forward wing and back wing, but the forward wing isn't really much of a wing. It's more of a protective shell that folds over the back to cover the body of the beetle as well as protect the backward wing. It's a semi-rigid. Little is known if it contributes or not to the flight of the beetle. Or the back wing is the one responsible for thrust and direction and navigation. The forward wing, called the elytra, maybe provides some stability. For the wing, I'm using a product called Web Wing, and this is a mottled brown color. I like it because it's lightweight. It doesn't spin the fly in a wind tunnel test, and you can get it in all kinds of colors. Alternatives to the web wing can be found at the end of the presentation. Cut a piece of the web wing with the width a little bit wider than half the gape of the hook. We'll bring that underneath on top and tie it on top of the fly. Make another wrap or 2. Hold it into place, and then going at a diagonal in the opposite direction, do a couple wraps. Just kind of pull it up a little bit. You'll see it's angling like that. We'll make a few wraps behind it to keep it up. And let's just do a figure 8 underneath that guy and underneath that guy. It's ready to go. For the body, I have a piece of shaved leather that I just made. Now it's a 1/10 of a millimeter thick. It's very thin. Now you can also buy shaved leather, a product called Bug Skin. Cut a piece of your shaved leather about the width of the gape of the hook. I'm going to tie this guy in. You will want to twist on you. The best way to hold this then, even though we're smashing our wing, is to hold it down flat and work your way back towards the wing. See where we're at on that. Maybe another wrap, get it just a little closer. For the hackle, use a black saddle hackle. Take your hackle and place it at the back of the fly at a 45-degree angle on top of the fly with the pretty side shining forward. We'll tie this guy in. For the dubbing, we're going to use beaver, and I have a beaver patch here. I'm going to be a little educational here and do an outtake on the benefits of using beaver as a dubbing. Beaver is one of those water animals that have an amazing fur coat. The thick down to keep it warm and dry, protected by the long, strong guard hairs, is just amazing. I selected beaver for the dubbing on this fly because of its ability to shed and not absorb water. Beaver is one of the best performing dry fly dubbings I know about, including both natural and synthetics like Fine and Dry, which is the polypropylene product. What makes it so good is its small diameter of 14 microns, but also its ability to blend with itself, making a tight, moisture-resistant barrier. On the animal, the density is over 10,000 fibers per square centimeter. Now we can take advantage of this by making a tight, dubbed body as well that will resist the water. My experiment of a dubbed number 14 1X fine hook floated for over 2 minutes. Now I've got some dubbing from my beaver patch, and I've removed the guard hairs. It's also pretty long, the down hairs, so I cut those down from 12 millimeters down to 3 or 4 millimeters. Now, beaver dubbing is not that easy to dub with. It likes to mat, and that's a good thing for the beaver because it blends all the down together to keep it warm and dry. And it's also a good thing for us fly tyers. If we wrap it tight, it'll also keep the beaver from absorbing water. So just take a small pinch, and you kind of have to be patient. Now we want a fairly thick dubbing on this, so we're going to just work our way up. When wrapping our hackle, we want to make one complete turn at the back of the fly, and it may be, a turn and a half or two. We want to make sure we have plenty of the hackle near the back to support the bend of the hook. If you look at the sketch on the side, the anatomy of the beetle, you'll see the thorax has 3 sections. Now, on normal insects, the 3rd section is the only one that attaches to the abdomen of the insect. But on the beetle, you have the meso and meta sections of the thorax that attach to the abdomen. So it looks like the legs are actually coming out of the abdomen. That's why we can get away with palmaring the hackle forward and not look too unnatural. So let's just trim the top here. Just a narrow little strip. We want our thread very round at this point. Bring our shaved leather forward. Give it a little stretch, not much. Place your finger right on top and take a couple loose wraps around our shaved leather. Adjust our shaved leather so it's on the top. Now it's going to want to fold on us. We'll take a look. And that looks really good. Now we're going to have a head on this insect, and it's going to cover the eye. So let's pull this back. And then we'll finish off tying our fly with some half hitches and double half hitches. And bring our shaved leather forward. All right, before we trim the fly, We're going to put on some Zap-A-Gap. Now on the back of the fly, just a dab under our tail just to hold it into place. We don't want it to wick up into our actual wing itself. Looking at the bug that was the inspiration to this fly, the wings really aren't too long. So let's cut those off. Place our scissors up against the eye and we'll make our little head. There we go. And then at the very underneath, we want to get rid of the hackle. And just trim a little bit in the middle there. Not overdoing it. And there we have one little beetle ready to go swimming and catch a trout.